Okay. All right. So in yesterday's lesson, we went over the easy SNB and what news events are. So in today's lesson, no, sorry, actually we went through the extreme yesterday. We went through extreme and what news events are and a bit of investing.com. So today we'll be going deeper. We'll be focusing on the easy SNB, which is the other strategy in this package that you guys are paid for. Okay, so is that slide? Okay, so the easy SNB, this one is, like I said, it's the other strategy in this package. It's the least effective one amongst the two. The reason why is because it's basically a future trade that you're placing, unlike the extreme one, like when you place a buy or a sell, you're active in the trade there and then. Now this one, it's quite easy to execute, although it has a few more steps than the extreme. It's easy because it only requires one account when it comes to executing it. So for example, you could choose whether to be using Hotforex or just Forex, just for this strategy alone. So in this example, we're going to be assuming we're trading with Hotforex. So Hotforex, that's the only account that will be using. So yeah, it requires one account. Then when it comes to executing it, you're going to focus on buy stops and sell stops. Now, don't get confused. These are just future trades that you're placing. So for example, a buy stop, what you're basically telling your broker to do is when price reaches a certain point, they should enter the trade for you. So in this case, for a buy stop, your broker is going to wait for price to increase to a certain point. That's when you go live in that trade. Then a sell stop is basically the opposite of a buy stop. So your broker waits for price to drop to a certain point. That's when they execute the trades for you. So yeah, you'll be focusing on those two things, buy stops and sell stops. You'll be placing one of each. So in the single account that you'll be managing, you place one buy stop and one sell stop. So you'll be placing two trades within one account. That's why it, anyway, I'll explain more when you enter the technicalities of it. So yeah, so for now, just remember, we'll be focusing on buy stop and sell stop. Now, I had mentioned that it's the least effective strategy in this package. The reason why is because you're basically giving away 10 pips before you go live into a trade. So this 10 pips, this is the amount of pips, or this is how far price should move before your broker executes the trades for you. So while these 10 pips are being are happening, you won't be live in the trade. But if you are using the extreme SNB, you would have been profiting off this same 10 pips. So by you giving away 10 pips makes the extreme more effective, because if, for example, you're trading with one lot, you'll be gaining or losing. If you're in a losing trade, you'll be gaining at a rate of what, $10 per pip. Now, if it's 10 pips, that's $100 you've missed out on, and so on. So yeah, this is what makes it less effective as compared to the extreme. Are there any questions before we move on?
Well, we're good to go.
Pardon?
For me, I'm good to go.
Okay. What about the others? Are you guys okay?
Yeah, can proceed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Anyway, if you've got questions, you can still come back to the session and rewatch it or ask me on WhatsApp, then I can answer them there. Anyway, moving on. The easy SMB, it's got its own list of news events, just like the extreme. Like I showed you guys yesterday. It's got its own list. The list includes CAD GDP, which is the Canadian currency. Then there's GBP, GDP, there's AUD interest rates, GBP PMI, AUD retail sales, Euro interest rates, and GBP interest rates. So just like the extreme, these are the only events that you should be trading the easiest MB with. So any event that isn't amongst this list, you shouldn't trade it. You should just ignore it. So yeah, for this list, it's only for the easiest MB. There are any questions? Okay, I'll take that as
We're good to go.
okay, that's good. Okay. So yeah, just like I did yesterday, I'll send you a screenshot of this so that you can use it as reference. But if you can, just mark the news event so that you don't have to pull out the photo every time you want to trade. So yeah, moving on. For the easiest NB, it's very important for you to understand how to add and subtract pips. For the extreme, you don't really focus on price. You just focus on the lot size and you click buy. You switch to another account, you put the same lot size, click sell, and so on. You don't really focus too much on price. But for the easiest MB, you'll be looking at prices a lot because you have to calculate the same 10 pips that I had mentioned earlier, the ones that you basically give away. You need to add them. You need to add them and subtract them to tell your broker when to buy and when to sell and so on. So price, these prices here, that for this currency pair here, Euro USD. Now, for Euro USD, it's considered to be a non-JPY pair because there's no JPY in it anywhere. Hence it being a non-JPY pair. If a currency pair has JPY in it, either on the quote side or the base side, it's called a JPY pair. JPY is just the Japanese currency, so don't stress too much on that. So yeah, as you can see, there's no JPY here, so it's a non-JPY pair. Now, another way that you can tell between JPY pairs and non-JPY pairs is by looking at the number of decimal places that the prices have. So for non-JPY pairs, they're always quoted in 5 decimal places. Then for JPY pairs, they're only quoted in 3 decimal places. I'll show you when we reach this part of the slide, this part of the presentation anyway. So yeah, when it comes to price, we always ignore the last decimal place here at the far right. So in this case, this 2 here for this price here, we're basically going to ignore it. So when it comes to adding and subtracting pips, we begin from the 4th decimal place here, the 4th decimal place from the decimal. So in this case, the 1 here that's in green, that's how we start adding and subtracting the pips from. So if this 1 here becomes a 2, that means the whole price has gone up by 1 pip. So that's basically what a pip is. A pip is just a movement in price. It helps us understand how far price has moved or changed. So yeah, if this one becomes a 4, for example, that means the whole price has gone up by 3 pips, just like that. So adding and subtracting, they always begin the 4th decimal place for a non-JPY pair. For JPY pairs, we're also going to ignore the last decimal place. Then we're going to start adding from the 2nd decimal place from the decimal. Yeah, that's how it is. Okay, are there any questions before I move on?
Yeah, we're good to go.
Okay, I'm just making sure everyone's clear. Anyway, moving on. This application, it's called MetaTrader 4. I'm sure some of you are familiar with it. This is the application that we'll be using to place the trades. Now, when you first open the application, you'll be brought to this part of the quote section. Here is where you pick a currency pair to trade with. So for example, if you want to trade an event in Europe, we'll be using a currency pair that's got euros in it. So for this example, we're going to be focusing on Euro USD. So Euro USD, To place a trade with it from here, you can just tap on it and there'll be a drop down menu that's going to appear, and you can just click on trades. Then from there, you'll be brought to okay, so is the slide included here? Okay, you know what? I think I'll show you. Okay, just give me a second. Let me see if I've added the slides. I think I accidentally deleted the. Okay, you know what? It's fine. Okay, so yeah, I was assuming we're going to trade with your USD. So when you tap on it, click on trade, you'll be taken to. Have I seriously lost that slide? Okay, this is the closest slide I have. Anyway, instant execution. Here you are. Okay, so when you want to place a trade, this is the screen that you'll be taken to. Yeah, this is the place where you can select a type of trade that you want to place. Then below you can place the lot size, stop loss, take profit. The stop loss is done in red, then take profit is done in green. Then there's deviation and a price, a chart here of how prices is moving in real time. So anyway, for the easiest MB, we're going to select here. I'm sorry, my slides are not in order. So assuming we click on instant execution, there will be a drop-down menu. There'll be a drop-down menu that will appear like this. Then we're going to focus on the last two options, which are buy stops and sell stops, like I mentioned before. So for the easiest MB, you'll be placing one of each. So you place one buy stop and one sell stop. So I'm going to start with buy stop. So we tap on it. I really need to organize my slides. Buy stop, here you are. Okay, you'll be brought to this part of the app. So a buy stop is just the type of trade that you're placing. Like I said before, it's a future trade. So your broker waits for price to increase to a certain point. That's when they place the order for you. So for buy stop, the next thing we're going to do is enter a lot size here. So assuming our lot size is lot size 1, we maintain it like that. Then we move on to price. Now in this part of the page, we're only going to focus on two things: the lot size and the price, or basically the point where you want your broker to place the order for you. So lot size 1, then next we focus on price. Now, when entering the price here, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be coming down to this chart here. Then you're going to be getting the number that's in red here. So if you can zoom in, the number is 1.17716. Now, just like I mentioned before, we ignore the last decimal place here. Now, with this number that's left, 1.1771, we're going to be adding 10 pips to it. Now, if we add 10 pips to it, the number is going to become 1.1781. So that number that we've calculated, that's what we come and paste here. So after pasting it, we go to the bottom and click on place. And that's basically it for the buy stop. So like I said, you only focus on two things: the lot size and the price. But when it comes to the price, we get the red number, then add 10 pips to it. Then whatever number we come up with, we paste it on price, then click on place immediately. Then after doing that, you come back. Actually, when you click on place, that slide is very important. Okay, you know what, we'll use this one. When you click on place, you'll be brought to this part of the app. Now, this is the part where you'll be able to see your profit and your losses happening in real time. So when you click on place, after placing a buy stop, you click on this plus icon here that looks like a SIM card. Then you'll be taken to a similar screen. This screen, then you're going to click on top here inside the description. You'll be shown a drop-down menu again. Then you're going to select sell stop. Then when you select sell stop, you'll be taken to this page here, sell stop. Then you basically do the same thing that you did for buy stop. So you focus on lot size and the price that you want your broker to place a trade for you. So we're going to maintain the same lot size, in this case to be lot size 1. Then we move on to price. Now for a sell stop, the way we calculate price is by getting the number in blue this time. Not the red, but the number in blue. So this number, what we're going to be doing with it is we're going to be subtracting this time instead of adding. So we're going to get this number. We're going to ignore the last decimal place. Then we're going to subtract 10 pips from this price. Now, when you subtract 10 pips, the price is going to be 1.1759. So that number we've calculated, that's what we paste here. Then when we're done entering the number here, we click on place. I hope everything's clear before we move on.
Yep. Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So yeah, you'll be doing this back to back. So immediately after placing a buy stop, you start executing the sell stop as well, because all this is supposed to be done 1 minute before the news event, just like the extreme. So 1 minute, you're supposed to be able to calculate the price, click on place, then place the other type of order. So if you have placed the buy stop, when you're done, you place the sell stop immediately. Then you wait for the event to happen. Now, 1 minute might not be enough for you guys. So that's why you guys need to practice so that you can get your time down to as low as possible. So yeah, this is the easiest MB. So after placing the buy stop and the sell stop, you're going to wait for the news to happen. So if it's at 13:30, after executing the trades, you now wait for 13:30 to clock. Then you're going to be taken to, is that slide? This one here. So you'll be able to see 2 positions here. So one for a buy stop and another one for a sell stop. Then when 13:30 clocks, one of them is going to get triggered. Then when it gets triggered and it turns blue, that's when you start closing the trades. You close all the positions. So when you want to close the trade, just slide this position to the left, and this is going to appear. Then you click on this, then there'll be a button here that says close. So yeah, that's how you close the trade, and that's what you do. So the moment it turns blue, you start closing immediately, because the second it turns blue, it's most likely reached its maximum height or maximum depth. So that's when you're supposed to close it. Close all the positions. Yeah, don't wait for anything. Are there any questions?
Not really.
Okay. So yeah, that's the easiest MD. Then for Ken, I think I went over the easiest MD with you, right? Or did you go through the extreme as well?
No, just did the easiest NB.
Okay, so for the sake of Ken, I think we're going to go over the extreme. Okay, so the extreme is the other strategy that is in this package. Now, this one is the most effective strategy that you guys will be using. So the extreme, this one is, it's a bit more mentally taxing because you'll be managing 2 accounts at the same time. So if you have an account with Hotforex and just Forex, you're going to be focusing on them side by side. Now, the secret to the extreme SMB is that you're going to be placing opposite trades in each account. So in Hotforex, you're going to place a buy. Just Forex, you're going to place a sell, which is the opposite of buying. Now, after doing that, you're going to be waiting for the news event to happen. Then when it happens, the account that has got blue in it, that's the one you focus on. Then the moment you see blue happening, after the news event has happened, like seconds after the news event has happened, when you see blue, you start closing the trades immediately. Now, if you're already in the account where the blue is going on, don't worry about the other account because there's an opposite trade there. So if you're winning in this account, you're obviously losing in the other account. So don't worry about switching. But if you're already in the account where red starts happening, just know that if you're losing in this account, you need to switch to the other side. Because if you're losing here, you're obviously winning in the other side. So you quickly switch. Then the moment you switch, you start closing the trades immediately. I hope that's clear, Ken.
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, that's good. So yeah, that's the extreme. For the extreme, there's one thing I want to see. Where's the drop down menu? Here it is. Okay, so for the easy, we are focused on these two. For the extreme, we're only going to focus on this one here, inside the execution, the first option. It's usually the default. So the moment you click on that SIM card looking icon, it's going to be pre-selected for you. So instant or market execution. With Hotforex and Just Forex, it's going to say market here, market execution. So yeah, that's the one you'll be focusing on. So you select instant or market execution, then you're only going to be entering the lot size here. So if lot size 1 is the one that you've come up with, that's the one you use. Then immediately place the sell. Then switch to the other account. Select instant execution if it's not already selected for you. Then you maintain the same lot size. Then immediately you place a buy. Then after doing that, you're now going to wait for the news event to happen. Then you'll be focusing on the account that you're already in. So if there's red in the account that you're already in, you switch the other side and there'll obviously be blue there. So the moment you see blue, you start closing immediately. So the most important thing to remember is for extreme SMB, it's instant execution. That's how to use. Then for the easy SMB, it's buy stop and sell stop. Those are the things that you focus on. I hope that's clear, Ken.
Yeah, it's clear. Though wanted to find out in terms of, so like the easy SMB, we use the buy or sell stop, but that's, for example, in one account, for example, Hotforex, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so does it mean you can't use is it instant? You can't use the buy and the sell stop in the same account under the instant execution.
Instant execution, it's a type of trade that you're placing. So just like a buy stop and sell stop, those are future trades. Instant execution is a type of trade also. But what it does for you is it enters the trade for you there and then. So the moment you click on buy, you'll be live in the trade there and then. You'll be able to see your profit or losses happening in no time from the second you start placing from the second you place your order. Then for buy stops and sell stops, your broker is going to wait those 10 pips before they place the order for you. So after 10 pips, that's when your trades are going to be running. I hope that has made sense for you.
Okay, yeah, I think that was clear there for me.
Okay. So yeah, this is the extreme. That's the easiest MB. One thing I should mention for Ken is that the extreme has got its own list of news events. This is it. So there's AUD GDP, NZD GDP, there's card employment change. Again, it's just the Canadian currency, so don't get confused. Card interest rates, USD, NFP, non-farm payrolls. Then there's USD Fed interest rate. Then there's NZD interest rates. So yeah, any news event that's not here, we don't trade it. Especially with the extreme, we don't trade it. So yeah, I'll send you a picture of this on WhatsApp after the lesson. So yeah,
Okay.
with Ken, did you go over investing.com in our last lesson?
No, we didn't.
Okay. Okay. Zoom is telling me I've got 10 more minutes. Okay, we can just quickly go through this. Investing.com. This application, this is the app that we use to know when exactly these news events are going to happen. So as you can see, it's got these options here, so you can see what news events happened yesterday, what events are going to happen today, what events are happening tomorrow. Then it can give you a weekly overview. So there's this week and there's next week. So in this slide, it's giving us a weekly overview. So on Thursday, there was this list. On Friday, there was this list. For this, I think this was Wednesday, maybe. I can't see the dates. Anyway, so yeah, that's the weekly overview. Now, this
Okay,
is how the
I think we
yes, go ahead.
went through this.
Oh, we went through it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Okay, but no, you can still proceed. I guess it wouldn't hurt to. Yeah.
I mean, we only have like 10 and 9 minutes now, I guess. Anyway, one important thing I want to mention here is how to pick a currency pair. So in as much as it shows you when the news events are happening here on the time here, what place it's happening in. So this is the United States. Then what type of news event it's going to be. Now you might be wondering how to pick currency pairs when it comes to a particular news event. So for starters, we're going to be starting this one, AUD retail sales, which is happening at 0330. Now for news events that are not happening in the US, what we do is we get this and we pair it with USD. So in this case, we're going to get the Australian dollar and we're going to pair it with USD. So for this particular news event, we're going to be trading AUD USD. That's how we pick a currency pair. Then for news events that are happening in the US, like these two here, how we pick a currency pair is by obviously getting this and going to your quotes, which is here. So you look at the currency pairs that have got USD in them. So this one has USD, this one has USD, has. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 currency pairs that have got USD in them. Now, how to actually pick a currency pair for a news event happening in the US? What you're going to be looking at are their spreads here. Spread is the commission that your broker charges you. So the lower the spread, that's the one we're going to go for. So amongst this list here, the one with the least amount of spread are these two here, Euro USD and AUD USD. Now they both have 19 spread. Now in this case, how do we actually pick a currency pair? We now compare euros against AUD. And obviously, euros is more used than Australian dollars. So it would be better for you to use this than this. So yeah, for any event that's happening in the US, this is the one you go for, preferably. It's got the lowest spread and it's euros. It's got more activity than AUD. It's in more demand than AUD. So yeah, that's how you pick a currency pair. Are there any questions?
No, they work with.
Okay. Okay. That's pretty much it for this lesson. So if you guys have any questions at all, just let me know on WhatsApp, then we can find a date and a time when we can go over those questions. I hope everything is clear in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Justin, I was just asking if maybe you can advise on which method to use when doing maybe any withdrawals or anything like that.
Like what payment methods?
Yeah, the payment method.
Okay. Me personally, I use Screw. Now Screw is stubborn to like new users. So for people that have just joined, I advise using card withdrawals directly from the broker. But if you're experiencing any issues with that, you can use bank transfer. That's no problem at all. Both of them work for you. Yeah.
Okay.
But if you have got a Screw account somewhere, use Screw, because I don't know. I've been using Screw since day one, so that's what I trust the most.
Okay.
Yeah. One more thing I should mention for the extreme is for Ken. Assuming you've got $100 to trade with, you're going to be splitting that amount amongst those two accounts. So Hotforex and Just Forex, they're going to have equal amounts as long as they've got the same leverage. If they don't have the same leverage, you have to balance things out. I hope you know how to do that, those calculations for balancing out.
Is that not what you had explained earlier?
Earlier, as in what do you mean exactly?
When you talk about what exactly do you mean by balancing based on what you've just said?
Okay, on the leverage, Hotforex only offers a maximum of 1,000. Just Forex, they offer up to 1 to 3,000. So since the leverages are different, you have to balance the amounts that you'll be depositing in them according to the leverage. So in Hotforex, since the leverage is a third of Just Forex's leverage, you need 3 times more to have the same strength as a Just Forex, the Just Forex account, the deposit that's in Just Forex. So if there's $100 in Hotforex, it has got the same power as $33 in Just Forex, since the leverage is 3 times greater. So that $33 is equivalent to $100 with a leverage of 1 to 1,000. I hope you've understood now.
Yeah, okay, that's clear.
Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So when this session is done, I'll upload it to my YouTube channel, then I'll send you guys links so that you can come back to it whenever you feel like it. I actually forgot to upload yesterday's session, so I'll upload both of them together. Then I'll send both links.
Okay, great.
Okay, so it was good having you guys here. If you have any questions, just let me know on WhatsApp. Then yeah, we can move on from there.
All right, cool.
Have a good night, guys.